Well, it's very exciting to be in another final game, especially the last year of existence in the Big East. So we're very excited. A young man here that really has a sore calf, and I was just driving him, telling him it didn't hurt, there's nothing wrong with you. And I know he didn't believe it, but he played through it. So I'm real proud of him. He had a great game, and Luke's given us a big lift offensively. We did a lot of good things tonight. We made them shoot a very low percentage in the second half, and even some of the shots they made from three, the two bank shots from three, would have even been a lower percentage. So real proud of our defense in the second half. We were a little, I would say, we worked really, really hard last night, very hard. And it wasn't a great performance tonight, but it was a very good performance to get into the finals.
Question, please.
Not, probably not too much in games. We do it all the time in practice. Steven's the best rebounder on the team. He gets people shots. He's a great screener. You know, he had 5 rebounds in 10 minutes. So per minute played, he's the best rebounder. And I just have a lot of confidence in him right now because he gets a lot of loose shots. And these guys have a lot of confidence in him, which is more important than me because they know what he can do.
All the way down on the right, Dana.
Rick, last year, Rick, you weren't really supposed to be in the Big East tournament final, so to speak. You were sort of a lower seed. This year, you're sort of expected. Which is harder?
Well, I just told Andy that, you know, Syracuse is in the same boat. We walked in here losing 4 out of 6, and everybody said they're not playing good basketball, not playing good basketball. Now, with us, it was a little different. We weren't healthy until the Big East tournament. So all of a sudden, the tournament turns you around. It turns you around. You see it like with a Vanderbilt right now in the SEC. They're playing great ball, and sometimes tournaments bail you out. And Syracuse right now goes from not being able to make a shot to on fire just because the belief in the tournament. And we know because we faced it 4 years ago, or maybe it was longer now, we're going to play a road game tomorrow. We know that. But that being said, it's so exciting to be in the Big East final. Whether expected or not, we had to perform. We had a Notre Dame game, according to some of the tweets that were coming out, that we had to be ready. So we knew that. These guys read it, not me. They told me.
Other question right here.
Rick, you held them to 12 of 31 from two-point range. How good was your interior defense tonight? And did that allow you to really turn the ball over?
Yeah, I just thought we were out of place a couple of times, and Peyton Siva just kept bailing us out with one rotation after another. He's just an incredible player. You know, I sometimes just don't give him too much of a break because I have so much confidence in him at every phase of the game, and once in a while he wants to catch a break and wants Russ to get it up, and I'm all over him and saying, are you going to be the point guard or not? And he's trying to cop a blow for 1 second, and I won't even let him do it. That's how much of an ass I am.
Back on the right.
Rick, in the coach, in the scope of history, Peyton is now the all-time leader in steals. What does that mean?
Well, when you realize the talent we've had at Louisville, one of the greatest traditions in all of college basketball, you know, it's one of the top 7 traditions, that's saying something because Denny had so many great athletes, so many great players. But, you know, it's, I say this, I keep repeating it over and over and over, the 2 greatest people I've ever coached in my life were Billy Donovan and Peyton Siva, just as people. And then you match the fact that they were both great point guards. So I've been very, very lucky to have Coach Billy, and now I'm very lucky to coach Peyton. So he's, I didn't know you got that record, so congratulations. See if you can do a little better tomorrow.
Back on the left.
In all honesty, it wasn't. I just made the right spots at the right time. It was more of, you know, the pressure from Russ and Gorgie and them trapping, and I just made the right rotations from watching film and knowing to get to the baseline in some plays and getting to the right spot in our press. Coach P kept telling me not to back up and, you know, keep playing aggressive, and that's what I tried to do. And the ball just came to me tonight, and you know, it was easy as that.
Over on the right, Roger.
I hope we own it tomorrow. I mean, if you say that, but I think around this time of year, you know, Coach really pushes us to become, you know, bring our game up to a higher level. you know, throughout the year, we're still trying to figure out our defenses. We're still trying to figure out our offenses. And, you know, Coach P around this time, you know, we work so hard, we're conditioned so much that, you know, these 3 days are just like, you know, 3 days of practice. We're used to it. We're used to running. We're used to getting up and down. And, you know, I just think that, you know, this style and the way the tournaments are played, you know, Coach P is really great at coaching us throughout it. You know, a lot of teams wants to slow it down, and he wants to push the pace, and that's what he's, you know, been great these last 3 years. And, you know, I'm just grateful to play for him.
All the way in the back.
This is my first time playing, but just, you know, I experienced it last year as a redshirt, and it's just an unbelievable feeling to be out there and you know, the crowd and the history of Madison Square Garden. It's pretty unbelievable, and for this to be the last tournament of the Big East as it really is, as, you know, the power basketball conference that it is, it's pretty special. For me, it's great playing in Madison Square Garden. You know, I love the atmosphere, especially, you know, since Coach P loves this place so much. We try to win every game for him, and you know, the court is new this year. It wasn't like last year, so we noticed that right away. And, you know, it's just a great feel. You love the atmosphere. You love the, you know, the new arena. You know, a lot of it is refurnished, and, you know, you just love playing in it. It's great.
In the middle, Judd.
Coach, you talked all year about your
You know, he really is a cool customer on the court. It says something when you name a person captain and he never plays in uniform. It says how much confidence you have in him. And he had one of the worst shoulder injuries that Fred Heenan has ever seen, because he tore everything. And basically he played 3 months of the season, and I used to tell him, Luke, raise your hands when you block out and stop blocking out with your arms. And he said, I can't get my arms up. So he was playing. Fred said there's no athlete he ever coached in a Met organization that could play as quickly as Luke played. And he said by mid-February he'll feel good. And probably now, after his 20 minutes of warm-up, he's no longer in pain and he can lift his arms up. So he's a great player. I knew it when I watched film on him at George Mason, but he learned to play defense now. So he's when I asked Jim Larinaga, I said, tell me about Luke. He said, if you want someone to take it out against pressure, he's your man. If you need somebody to make your shot at the end of the game, he's your man. If you need somebody to grab a rebound, he's your man. And I said, well, what about defense? He said, he's not your man. But he has really improved his defense and has come a long way.
Over on the right, Roger.
Coaches have different philosophies about how to address a conference tournament. I feel like I've recently read somewhere way back that you felt that this conference tournament is a very good prep for the NCAA. What is it about this conference that does it for you?
Well, I felt the same way at the SEC, and different coaches have different strategies. Some like to rest. We're a well-conditioned team, and what I love about these tournaments, and I did at Kentucky as well when I coached there, is that you get 3 days mentally to really prepare, and it gets the guys to understand film and watch it in a very condensed period of time. So the great thing about it, when you play that Thursday, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, really, you guys are used to focusing and being in these high-pressure situations. So for us, I think it's great preparation for the NCAA. I've always wanted to win the conference tournament at the end of the year. Peak at the right time, because you guys feel great about themselves when they get on that bus and go home.
Back in the middle.
Notre Dame's a great team. You know, they're led by 2 great guards, probably the most underrated backcourt in the nation, you know. So it was definitely tough playing against them. I mean, they match up so well against us. I think this is my 3rd game that I haven't, you know, out of like 6 or 7 that we haven't went into overtime. So, you know, to really, you know, get into them and beat them today is really something special. And, you know, I know a lot of those guys, and, you know, we went to camp together, and, you know, it's kind of great just to have the bragging rights for, you know, the summer, because I won't have to play them again.
All the way in the back.
Coach.
Well, I'm happy for Jim because his team was going the wrong way. And, you know, now he can, I don't know how many more years he asked me the other day, he said, you're going to retire soon. And then I said, I wonder why Jim would ask me that. He's asking me that. And then my wife grabbed him in the restaurant and said, Jim, are you going to retire? He said, no, Rick needs to retire because his children are all grown up. Mine are young. I've got to coach 10 or 12 more years. So I'm happy for him. He's a great guy. He's like most coaches. When you lose, we're not real nice to you and not nice to your dog, anybody. But he's a great guy. He really is. I have the cutest story about him that I'll never forget. because I was his first assistant coach. And I never forget this as long as I live, because you've seen him when he gets upset. Well, we won the Carrier Classic. We won it. And Marty Burns had a great night, and we beat Michigan State. Judd Heathcote was the coach. And he went ballistic on this writer, Rob Lowen, as he walked through the media room, because he knew Rob really well. He used to work for the student newspaper. And he took a stat sheet and threw it at the back of his head and said, MVP, because he found out Rob voted for the other guy. You voted for Irvin Magic Johnson. And he threw the thing. How could you possibly do that over Marty Burns? And as years went by, I kept thinking while I was in the pros, looking at Irvin Magic Johnson, I don't know how he could have voted for him over Marty Burns. It just didn't make any sense to me. But that's Jim. He's just loyal to his guys, to Syracuse, and great guy. I'm happy for him that he's in the finals. We're happy and very excited to be in the finals.
All right, we're going to try back on the right. Last question. Yep.
Yeah, Russ can be very frustrating at times. But that being said, you've got to give him his latitude because he's such a great player. You know, I think Russ is actually going to be a very good NBA player because, you know, the NBA is really a 15-second shot clock. I know now they went to 8 seconds in the backcourt, 16 seconds in shot clock. And so you don't have a lot of continuity. You don't have a lot of ball reversal. You've got to create either for yourself or your teammates with a 16-second shot clock. And that's why I think Russ, offensively as well as defensively, does it. You know, Peyton does it at both ends of the floor. And that's why these guys, you know, are going to have a great future going forward. So Russ can, you know, he'll take a bad shot. I don't get really upset at Russ's bad shots. I get upset when he screws up defensively. That's what bothers me. And it's mostly off the ball or a scouting assignment, but I let him have his latitude offensively. It's great scores. You got to give him one or two bad shots, and you just got to tell him to just settle down. And so he's a great player.
Louisville, thank you.
Thanks.